the Opus 2 String Orchestra welcomes you to our concert, A Salute to American Music. Tonight's program will showcase a variety of musical styles, all written by American composers. We also have a very special guest saxophonist with us, Mr. George Furlow. Be prepared for a couple of other surprises along the way as well. It's going to be a great concert. But before we begin, please silence all cell phones and electronic devices, and please do not take flash photography of the performance. And now please welcome our concert master, Mr. Gregory Perez, to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our conductor, Mrs. Megan Martz. To begin our American-themed concert, our conductor has chosen a familiar patriotic march, The Stars and Stripes Forever. It is considered to be the magnum opus of composer John Philip Sousa. Born in 1854, Sousa grew up in Washington, D.C. during the Civil War. As a child, he enjoyed hearing the military bands that filled the streets of our nation's capital. His father played in the U.S. Marine Band, and Sousa quickly followed in his footsteps. And when he wasn't playing with a band, he was writing music. By the 1890s, he had written enough popular marches to be nicknamed the March King. The inspiration for the Stars and Stripes Forever came in 1896, while Sousa was on an ocean liner, traveling home to New York from a European vacation. On the journey, Sousa described hearing the rhythmic beat of a band playing within my brain. It kept on ceaselessly playing throughout the whole voyage. That imagery, that imaginary band continued to unfold the same themes, echoing and re-echoing the most distinct melody. When he got home, he wrote down the music for the Stars and Stripes Forever. Sousa tried to capture the feeling of coming home to America and how, after being away in a foreign country, the sight of the Stars and Stripes seemed to be the most glorious sight in the world. He also wrote lyrics to the piece, but they are not nearly as well known as the music. Still, the song was an immediate hit. It was not unusual for the band to play it 2 or 3 times in a performance, each time receiving louder applause than before. Sousa played it for the last time on March 6, 1932, the day he died. In 1987, an act of Congress declared the Stars and Stripes Forever would be the official national march of the United States. And now, Opus 2 presents The Stars and Stripes Forever. Two are reverent spiritual songs, and two are fast-paced fiddle tunes. This week begins with Amazing Grace, written by the English poet and Anglican clergyman John Newton. In 1773, Amazing Grace started out as a poem written to illustrate a sermon, but it settled into relative obscurity in England. However, in 1835, it gained immense popularity in the United States, where the poem was joined to a tune named New Britain, the same tune we use when singing the song today, with the message that forgiveness and redemption are possible and that the soul can be delivered from despair through the mercy of God. Amazing Grace became an emblematic African-American spiritual. Now, almost 200 years old, it remains one of the most recognizable songs in the English-speaking world. superstition that finding a hole in your stocking is a sign that good luck is on the way, or that you will soon receive good news. At a dance, the lady with a hole in her stocking referred to the person who was having too good of a time to worry about her appearance or convention. So tonight, whether it's for good luck, good news, or a good time, may we all have holes in our stockings. Resident of a Christian Shaker community in Gorham, Maine. Early Shaker worship services were unstructured and chaotic. Later, they developed precisely choreographed dances and orderly marches, accompanied by symbolic gestures. Simple Gifts is one of these dances. The words to the song say, "'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free. 'Tis the gift to come down to where we ought to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning, we come round right." Turning is a common theme in Christian theology, but the word in the last two lines are also dance instructions. When the dance is performed properly, each dancer ends up where he or she began. They turn and come round right. We hope you enjoy this simple song from a simpler time. Sawyer is a term used by the riverboat captains. It refers to a partially submerged log bobbing up and down in a seesaw motion, which could wreak havoc on their paddle boats. The tune is also known by other names throughout the world, such as The Downfall of Paris, The Fall of Paris, and Have You Any More Ado? But Mississippi Sawyer, it is recognized name in the American South. No matter what you call it, this old fiddle song is fast, and it's guaranteed to get your toes a-tapping and your hands a-clapping. Was born into a musical family. He began piano lessons at the age of 5 and wrote his first composition for string quartet when he was just 12. Even though he loved and studied music, he intended to be a language teacher. He mastered no less than 9 languages and had an offer to teach at a private school in Pennsylvania. But at the last moment, he turned it down and decided to give music a final try. Thankfully, he succeeded. He enjoyed a very productive relationship with Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops Orchestra and did many arrangements for them. Audiences loved Anderson's original compositions, such as Sleigh Ride, The Syncopated Clock, and Plink, Plank, Plunk. He wrote our next piece, The Typewriter, in 1950, and its performances requires an actual typewriter. The keystrokes, typewriter bell, and carriage return mechanism are major components of this fun and whimsical song. Most of the young members of Opus 2 had never seen a typewriter before, and it was the center of attention when it was brought to the rehearsal a few weeks ago. In this age of computers, smartphones, iPads, and touchscreens, this ancient mechanical device was unfamiliar to them. But in the 1950s, the clatter of a typewriter was heard in every office, every day. Now, you may think that the best choice to play the typewriter would be a secretary, administrative assistant, stenographer, or data entry specialist, but you would be wrong. Leroy Anderson himself said that only professional drummers have the wrist flexibility and precise rhythmic timing needed to perform this piece. So naturally, our percussionist, Bill Yudesky, became our only logical choice. Please, Mr. Yudesky, come up and join and get ready. ladies and gentlemen, the typewriter. To introduce our very special guest, Mr. George Furlow. Not only is he a skilled and talented saxophonist, but he is also a professor at Geneva College, and he serves as the Music and Fine Arts Director at the Covenant Church of Pittsburgh. We are honored that he took the time out of his busy schedule to work with our young musicians. Thanks to his guidance and coaching, he proved that classically trained string players can become cool jazz swing players. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. George Furlow to the stage. Blues is a genre and musical form that originated in African American communities in Deep South. Around the end of the 19th century, it grew from a blend of folk music and the work songs of slaves, creating a style that is uniquely American. New Orleans blues includes two of these traditional blues songs. It begins with Joe Turner, written by an unknown composer during the 1890s. Many versions exist, and while they share a common melody, the words and mood change. A slow, sad version describes Joe Turner as a lawman who comes into town with chains, and he takes the singer's lover away. We'll be doing the up-tempo, happy version, which describes Turner as a generous man who mysteriously comes and goes, leaving behind food, supplies, firewood, and tools for the people of the flood-ravaged town. In keeping with the blues tradition, there are sections in Joe Turner that allow our musicians to do solo improvisations. This is new territory for most of our players, and we're very proud of those who have decided to do a solo. The piece ends with a brief rendition of Worried Man Blues, another song passed down by oral tradition. The lyrics generally tell the story of a man imprisoned for unknown reasons. He pines for his lost love, who is on the train and gone. In each version, you'll find this chorus. It takes a worried man to sing a worried song. I'm worried now, but I won't be worried long. We hope you enjoy Opus 2's presentation of New Orleans Blues, featuring our special guest soloist, Mr. George Furlow. was born in Clarinda, Iowa in 1904. I'm so excited, sorry. By the time he graduated high school, he knew he wanted to be a professional musician. To please his parents, he entered the University of Colorado, but spent most of his time attending auditions and playing as many gigs as he could get. He dropped out of college after failing 3 out of 5 classes one semester. Glenn formed his first big band in 1937. A year later, it folded, unable to distinguish itself from the many others of the era. Miller needed a unique sound, and he found it by having the clarinet and the tenor sax share the melodic line, while 3 other saxophones harmonized within a single octave. With this distinct, recognizable new sound, Glenn Miller became the best-selling recording artist from 1939 to 1943. In 1942, at the peak of his career, he decided to join the war effort. He was too old to be drafted, but he persuaded the United States Army to accept him so he could, in his own words, be placed in charge of a modernized Army band. On December 15, 1944, while traveling to entertain Allied troops in France, his plane disappeared in bad weather over the English Channel. Major Glenn Miller, then 40 years old, was declared missing in action. Tonight, Opus 2 is proud to perform Glenn Miller's signature composition, Moonlight Serenade. Many artists, including Old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra, have recorded this classic American swing ballad. Here are the romantic lyrics written by Michael Parrish. I stand at your gate, and the song that I sing is of moonlight. I stand and I wait for the touch of your hand in the June night. The roses are sighing a moonlight serenade. The stars are aglow, and tonight, how their light sets me dreaming. My love, do you know that your eyes are like stars brightly beaming? I bring you and I sing you a moonlight serenade. Let us stray till break of day in love's valley of dreams. Just you and I, a summer sky, a heavenly breeze kissing the trees. So don't let me wait. Come to me tenderly in the June night. I stand at your gate and I sing you a song in the moonlight. A love song, my darling, a moonlight serenade. In the spirit of Valentine's Day, as Mr. Furlow and the orchestra perform this beautiful love song, I'd like to point out that the aisles in here are wide enough for dancing. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. For sweethearts of all ages, Opus 2 presents Moonlight Serenade. behalf of our conductor, Megan Martz, our musicians, and our board members, thank you for sharing your talents, your knowledge, your expertise with us. It's been a pleasure having you at tonight's concert especially, and especially the rehearsals. You've made this evening a memorable one for all of us. Thank you. Now, on to our finale. Born in Cleveland, Ohio, but raised in Pennsylvania, Henry Mancini played the flute as a youth and went on to play and arrange for Benny Goodman and Glenn Miller. He scored many movies and changed the style of film background music by injecting jazz into the traditional orchestral arrangements. In 1958, Mancini composed the theme for the TV show Peter Gunn. The show was about a private investigator with sophisticated taste and a love of cool jazz music. Mancini also worked on the 1961 film Breakfast at Tiffany's, starring Audrey Hepburn. The composer tailored the song Moon River to fit Miss Hepburn's limited vocal range, yet it was almost cut from the film. Fortunately, it remained, and the American Film Institute named it the 4th most memorable song in Hollywood history. Of course, Henry Mancini will always be best remembered for the theme song from the Pink Panther movie. The opening sequence featured an animated Pink Panther whose antics were timed to the jazz rhythms of Mancini's song. This animated panther went on to have its own cartoon series, and Mancini's music accompanied every episode. Our final piece, Salute to Mancini, begins with the Pink Panther, followed by the lovely waltz, the Moon River, and concludes with the exciting theme from Peter Gunn. Whether you've seen the movies and shows or not, you are sure to recognize these well-known melodies composed by Mr. Henry Mancini. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming, and we hope that you enjoyed it. Based on the applause, we can say, yes, you did. And our salute to American music. Opus 2 simply could not exist without the support of our patrons and friends, so please consider making a donation. There will be baskets at the doors as you leave. These funds will help underwrite the cost of the orchestra and allows us to give scholarships to our graduating seniors. Have a very happy Valentine's Day, and be sure to join us right here on Sunday, April 30th, for our final concert of the season. This special concert will feature music selected by our graduating seniors. We hope to see you there. For other news and updates, please be sure to visit, like, and share our brand new Facebook page. It's listed under Opus Roman number 2, String Orchestra. You'll find this and our website address printed inside tonight's program.